What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cam from Average Joe Sports Network. Now, you're probably noticing, why am I watching Cam on a rectangle? What's going on? We're on YouTube. Let's go, guys. I know it's been a long time coming, but I've tried YouTube here and there. This is my first time with an actual setup. I'm looking at a webcam on a computer right now while holding a microphone. So this is the real deal. This isn't just some, let me just go and record something on my phone, run it through CapCut real quick. No. Okay. This is the real deal. Now, I figured the best way to, I don't know, start a YouTube channel after talking to some people would just be to introduce myself to my viewers, to you guys. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm just going to do, just the introduction about myself, what I do, what you can expect on this channel before we get into all the fun stuff. So yeah, that's what you can expect from this video. I guess first we can start with me being born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm 19 years old. I was born in 2007 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I've always been interested in sports. There was a brief moment in my life where I wasn't interested in sports and I just completely didn't care about them at all. That's when I was reading Harry Potter. I was doing Rubik's Cubes. Big nerd, but I do them both now. I do this and I do that. You feel me? So I do sports and the other stuff now. I figured out a way to balance them, and I found a way to feel more included in the sports community, which is ultimately what I strive to help others do. I try to create a space where everyone feels included and where you don't get made to feel like you don't belong, which happened to me for a long time, which that sparked my break where I just didn't really care much for sports. I ran into a lot of the wrong people that didn't make me feel included, and I figured that sports weren't for me until ultimately I found out what sports were for me, being women's sports and things of that nature. I am part of a military family. My dad is ex-military of 26 years. He was in the military for I think 26 years. He got out whenever I was 18 years old, so just recently, about a year ago. So because of that, I moved around a lot. I've been around many different types of people, many different sorts of environments, and I feel like that's helped me with my content because it's helped me be able to reach and understand so many different perspectives from so many different types of people. Um, so yeah, military. I also really like Pepsi, but I think you guys understand enough about me. Yeah, so I guess let's just get into how I got into women's sports. I got into women's sports in 2023 during Women's March Madness. I was watching it. I heard LSU was pretty good. I wasn't really watching sports for real, but I heard LSU was good at women's basketball. So I was like, oh, okay, let's watch some women's basketball. That was the year that LSU won the national championship, I believe, 2023. I watched that run and I was like women's basketball. So let's keep watching it. So 2023, watched LSU win the national championship. Then the year after that, I want to say South Carolina won. And I remember specifically liking South Carolina. And I was like, okay, I like South Carolina. South Carolina's cool. The rivalry, though, that's still there. Definitely don't like them whenever LSU is still playing in the tournament or whenever LSU's playing them. But I was like, I like South Carolina. And then my favorite player about in college basketball, I found her, Tahina Pau Pau. I was like, okay, we're gonna watch the WNBA and pick a team whenever she gets drafted. Whichever team drafts Tahina Pau Pau is going to be my favorite WNBA team, and I'll get her jersey for that team. Time comes for the WNBA draft, and just like that, Tahina Pau Pau gets drafted to the Atlanta Dream, which is great because that's the closest team to me. So it's not a weird it's not a weird team all the way across the country. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I end up getting into women's college basketball. I get into the WNBA, and then after that summer, I go to college and I start my freshman year of college. And for those of you that don't know, I'm in college to be a sports journalist. So I end up working for my school newspaper. I'm one of the sports writers, and I'm assigned a beat to pick. And well, I mean, I guess I really didn't pick it. I guess it was given to me. I was given the women's soccer beat. Now, I covered soccer in high school, but admittedly, I wasn't even watching it yet. I was just covering every sport, probably I wasn't that great at talking about soccer. I said very surface knowledge things because I didn't really know that much about soccer. But I got to college and I was tasked with writing about soccer. So I was like, okay, women's sports, there's professional women's soccer. Let's watch that. So I start watching the NWSL. I end up picking the Washington Spirit to be my favorite team because of Croy Bethune. Still sucks that she got traded. But I do that. I start watching the NWSL. I'm like, this is lit. I like the NWSL. I'm watching the WNBA, women's college basketball as well. I think the next sport that I moved on to was women's hockey. Yes, actually, professional women's hockey. I was watching the PWHL because I am a Golden Eyes fan. As a matter of fact, wait, that's not. Oh, here it is. Vancouver Golden Eyes fan, right? Um, I'm a Canucks fan for the NHL. I started watching the NHL before the PWHL. So I was like, okay, I'm a Canucks fan. The PWHL is expanding to Vancouver. Let's run it. You feel me? I was like, let's run it. So I'm there from day one. I remember screen recording the press conference where they announced the Golden Eyes, PWHL Vancouver at the time. I was screen recording that and I posted the clips from it. So I have literally been a Golden Eyes fan since day number one, since second number one, minute number one, whatever you want to say. I have been there with the team. I was watching them. I feel like I took a large part in their season. I was covering them all season, making fan content all season. At the end of the inaugural season, I made a montage for the fans. That seemed very well received, very well liked. So overall, I had a lot of fun with the Golden Eyes. Um, in February, I got into the WLL. I'm a Maryland Charm fan. I cover the WLL, love women's lacrosse. I got into college women's lacrosse. So overall, big women's sports guy. I never pass up opportunity to support women's sports, support women in sports, all of that, all of that, all of that. And I'm making content on Instagram and TikTok basically the whole time I'm getting into women's sports, and I noticed something. Randomly during this summer, I noticed that all the women's sports I talk about, they're not where I'm at. All the women's sports fans that I talk to, they're not where I'm at. It feels like it's just me here in this Birmingham, Alabama bubble that's separate from all the women's sports that I enjoy and all the women's sports that I consume on a daily basis or whenever it's available. And with that, I took issue, right? Because I've built up this platform. I didn't take the time to see if there was any women's sports at all here in Birmingham, or at least in the surrounding areas of Birmingham, and try to see what I could do to help them out. So I instantly was like, I have this platform. I have around 6,000 followers, 6,100 followers at this time on Instagram as I'm making this video. I can make things happen. Like, I have enough followers to actually try to make something happen and take the chance to try to make change. So for about a couple weeks now, it's been my mission to use my followers, use my platform that I do have to try to inspire change in Birmingham and the surrounding areas in regards to the women's sports scene, because I don't want to have to travel to be immersed in women's sports. I don't want to travel to finally find myself involved where I'm not the only person in the room that's talking about women's sports or cares about women's sports. I want to bring the environment that places like Seattle or New York, I want to bring that environment here. That requires, connecting with people around the city where I'm at, connecting with, organizations where I'm at, and just, being very intentional with what we're doing so we can actually make our dream come true of having a healthy women's sports scene here in Birmingham, Alabama. It's a dream of mine to have Birmingham, Alabama be somewhat of a women's sports hub down here in the South. I know Birmingham is pretty far, of course, behind a city like Atlanta. In my opinion, Atlanta is the hub for women's sports down in the South, but everybody down here should not be tasked with sharing Atlanta as the women's sports hub. Everyone deserves women's sports in their city. Everyone deserves women's sports closer to them. So ultimately, that's what I want to try to make possible. What can you expect from this channel? Well, I have a lot of thoughts about women's sports all the time. Actually, all day. every single day. And it would be impossible for me to put all of that into a reel that people would actually sit down and watch because people's attention spans aren't there. Admittedly, mine isn't really either. So I know I wouldn't watch a reel that's like 10 minutes. So I know everyone else wouldn't watch a reel that's 10 minutes. So I figured for all of my longer thoughts or, videos that I want to be perceived as masterpieces, I want like on YouTube, that's where my art pieces of content are going to go. Things that I want people to sit and I want people to marvel at. Things that I want people to, I want to change people's lives with my YouTube videos. I want people to watch my YouTube videos and be like, "Wow, that league is pretty cool. Wow, that league is pretty cool. Wow." Like I want people to watch my videos and be like, "Man, why haven't I been watching this league the entire time? Man, why haven't I known who this athlete is the entire time?" You feel what I'm saying? So, I can't possibly do that in my reels or on TikTok all the time. So that's what this is going to be for. So, if I want to call somebody out, let's say someone does something and I call them out. I mean, I could call them out on Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever, but I can't thoroughly call them out on there because my video is only going to be an hour, a minute and 45 seconds. On here, that's where the hour video could be, even though I probably won't make a video that's an hour, but that's where this could go if it was to be anywhere. So that's the purpose that YouTube is going to serve. It's going to be a mix of all sorts of things. If I feel like making a highlight video for a player, just so, it exists on YouTube, it's gonna be here. If I feel like making a video where I talk the entire time, like right now, it's gonna be on here. If I want to make a video where I try to bring attention or awareness to something, where I do research, you know what I mean? That's gonna go here as well. So it really could be anything. If you log on and go to my YouTube channel, I want it to be a mix of everything. Like one of those fancy salads that people eat where it has like all sorts of colorful stuff in it and stuff. So that's the purpose that this channel will serve. But I think that's about it about me. I rambled for a long time. I don't usually do that. Um but yeah, stick around, come back for more, and I'll start planning actual YouTube videos. So see you next time.